Alright, hello GDQ, I am Breadghost. I'll be running Attack of the Rhynocs for you today. I'll just want to explain just a few quick things before we start the run here. I wanted to go over a brief history of this run since it's never been shown before. So this run had a world record of 21 minutes flat when I started running it in 2015. The world record now is a 1933, and that's over the course of about 7 years, but that's a huge improvement in the category this short, which is about 20 minutes long. And it's been a community effort to get that time down by optimizing movement and rerouting the game in the past year. It's actually seen a lot more activity. And with that, I'll just go ahead and start the run now. So I'll do a countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so the object of any percent is to defeat Rhypto at the end of the game. Rhypto's our main bad guy. In order to do that, we actually need 8 different items from across the worlds. And this game is kind of designed as an open-worlded game. It's not like different levels that you're unlocking using fairies or fireflies or orbs or like anything like another Spyro games. So we have to go to each world that's connected in the routes to get those 8 items. One of those items is also locked behind 2,000 gems, so we actually need to collect gems along the path. Can't just go item to item and complete the game that way. We're gonna need to follow that gem route in order to have the gems we need to complete the run. For movement options, charging, as with many Spyro games, is the fastest form of movement. So I'll be pretty much charging everywhere. It also lets us not talk to NPCs, which is really nice because NPCs are very slow. We also have access to this quick hover right there that you just saw. Glide and hover ability is actually pretty broken in this game. We can use it to get to a lot of places we're not supposed to be, which is pretty nice because that's fast. In regards to breath abilities, we have fire, ice, and wind in this game. So fire is our most versatile breath. It's very powerful, has a huge hit radius. You may have seen earlier, I hit a barrel from like 30 feet away. It was crazy. Ice and wind are useful, but only in their niche uses. So we'll be using those occasionally throughout the run, but you'll be seeing fire the most. This here is Butler. He's a recurring character in this game, and he's one of the reasons the route has changed so much. I'll explain that a little later when we get to... Oops, that's not supposed to happen. I'll explain that a little later when we get to that. But for now, Rhypto is going to warp us out of here using the warp device, and we will start the run for real, because that was just the tutorial. And things move very fast in this run, so I'll explain things best as I can. Keep up, there will be a quiz at the end. So the first level we're going to be visiting is called Fairy Library. This level was recently rerouted by the current world record holder, C-Scotty-W. There's these things called flutterbugs throughout this level that you're supposed to use to get around. They get you higher places, they get you to new areas in the level, but they're pretty slow, so we're going to be ignoring most of them. We'll be using this first one here to try and do a little clip up to this top part of the level. Hopefully it cooperates. Okay. Oh, I almost got it. That's a little slow. So what I just wanted to do, I wanted to get him right up next to this wall. But unfortunately he's not cooperating today, it seems. If you get him right up against the wall, he actually zips you straight to the top here, and it saves about 4 seconds. So it's worth it to go for every run. It's pretty low risk, unless you happen to lose the bug, like I did. So I'm going to get up here using this glide and hover. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go to the other side of the level and get a flutterbug to take you around up to this higher tier. And now we're just going to ignore most of the other flutterbugs we're supposed to be using to get around and get some more gems. We need to do this, obviously, to get the 2,000 gem total. So we'll be doing a lot more in every level than we probably need to make sure we get to that gem quota that we need to get to. And this is our first boss of the game, called the Rhinopede. And he is pretty predictable. His pattern is pretty much the same every time. So if I do the same thing every time, he's gonna do the same thing every time. So I'm just gonna have to hit him 3 times here. Hit him there, and then he should come over here, hit him here. And he gave me the bad pattern here. Normally you want him to go closer to the top right section of this room. But that's okay. Yeah, so right there, the bug actually put me in the wall, so I could have put a bug clip there. There's another spot where that's possible. That one's a little harder to go for though, because it's hard to get a bug next to the wall. So what we got there was called the Quick Escape book. That's just going to let us come to this exact spot in Dragon Shores every single time. That's going to be useful later in the run, be fast traveling back here. And so now I'm going to head towards the next few levels. You can go ahead and read some donations.
Sounds great. I have a $25 donation here from Ali Zek. Glad to be back in a position in my life to donate again to GDQ. I've lost multiple family members to cancer. Grateful to all of the amazing work done by the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And from Video Game Vibes, we have another $25. AGDQ is my favorite time of the year. Thank you, GDQ, for this awesome event, and thank you to everyone donating to this amazing cause. We good for a couple more?
Just one more. Good.
All right. From Cosmo Dings, I have $25. Lost both my in-laws to cancer. We need to kick cancer's butt. And thanks to all the runners, commentators, staff, and crew for this awesome event.
All right. So now we're in the ice levels. This is actually the only level in the run we're actually not going to do too much in. The reason being, the gems in the main area of this level are very, very spread out and off of many different paths, so it doesn't make much sense to actually use this area as a gem collecting. We're not supposed to happen. Okay, this is fine. We're not... Okay, please stop falling in the water, sorry. So, it doesn't really make too much sense to use this area as a gem collecting area. So we're going to use the other ice level as our gem collecting area in this part of the world instead, because all the gems are much closer together. Still be getting a few here though. And we're going to death warp out of this level, head over to Yeti Serengeti. Something to note about this game, the gems progress very naturally. So as you move through the game, there will be more gems in each world. That's just a natural progression of the game to have more gems in every world. So we'll be collecting more and more gems the further we go into the game. So we spend a lot less time in the levels that have less gems, because it just doesn't make sense to stay there too long. In this area, we're going to get the lantern, which is going to let us enter caves. This guy's going to give that to us. As we've seen throughout the run, there's been a lot of little tricky glides and hovers that we've been doing to skip intended things. We'll be skipping pretty much every single one of these goats that we've been freezing in this first area here, in the next area, because they're pretty slow as well. These caves also lag a lot. Not too bad today though. Pretty efficient fire breath there. So yeah, we're gonna do a little jump up here. Not supposed to do that, but we do it anyway because we're fast. And this is going to be our first Moneybags Vault of the run. So Moneybags Vaults are usually chock full of gems and items if you're doing 100%. We're just interested in the gems. There's usually a lot of them, and as with the progression of the game, there are more gems the further you get in the game, which is why we didn't go in any vaults earlier on. So there'll be 2 more of those. We'll see them when we get to them. And so this is what I was saying when I said the Yeti stuff is all very close together. There's a whole bunch of gems just up on that cliff. Barrels right there with 15 gems in them, these guys. And this is like the only part of the level that's really super far away from everything else. And so, got a quick escape out here. We'd like to pause when we're next to gems, because Sparks will actually collect those gems for us in the pause menu, which is really a nice little time save. And from here, I would actually like to explain why the route has actually changed so much in the past year. So we used to do a strat to enter this next level, Banana Savannah, as the second level of the run. But that strat was very, very difficult. We do a glide and hover to hit this loading zone. It's actually just close enough to where you can hit that loading zone and enter the level early. We did that because that actually skipped a boss fight that's coming up. And that boss fight is incredibly slow and basically an auto-scroller, so it was really nice to be able to skip it. And the only reason it was able to be skipped is because this level is the only other world besides Fairy Library on this side of the map. And so the boss fight is actually in an area that transitions between this area of the map and the next area of the map. So we would just never end up entering that transition area ever again. But there was a new skip found last July, actually, that was able to completely skip that boss fight point blank. Like, we don't even need to hardly do anything to skip the boss fight. We can literally go into that area and run away from it, essentially. And you'll see that in just a moment when I perform Butler Skip. I just gotta get a few more gems here. That was not an intended item. Those are the grapes. That's a pretty common item to accidentally pick up in this run. The other one's the lava lamp. You'll see that later as well. Picking up an item doesn't lose too much, though. It's only about 2 or 3 seconds. This game, in general, is pretty forgiving when it comes to time loss. Alright, so this is Butler Skip. We're going to enter this area here, and this game is weird in that it doesn't stop you from moving into cutscenes. So what I can do, I can go up against this wall and glide up into this spot right here, and these 2 boulders are supposed to block you from leaving, but we got behind one of them, and so because of that, we can kind of just leave. It's not going to stop us. We got behind it. We juked it. We're there. Yeah, so that skip saves about 8 seconds overall due to reroutes and stuff, and it's pretty cool. So this next level is mostly just movement and tech and stuff, so you can go ahead and read a few more donations if you'd like.
Sounds great. I've got $10 here from House Clam. Spyro is one of my favorite games, and I just love the mechanics the game offers for speedruns. Greetings from Germany, and stay hydrated. And I also have another $10 here from Albzor. So hyped for another great AGDQ. Shout out to my brothers if they're watching. Time for one more?
This guy cut himself in half. He's going to give us the spinning top, which is going to give us a powered up wind breath. Cats are kind of annoying as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. I also have a $50 here donation here, from Kidorada. I just woke up and get to see a Spyro game I've never seen before. Always nice to see my favorite purple dragon in action. Here's to more donations this week, and thanks to all the hard workers behind the scenes that keep GDQ working year after year.
Thank you. You can go ahead and read one more if you have one.
I do. From Sock Drawer Pangolin, we have $250. Very impressed with how much has been raised so far. Let's keep the momentum going.
I think within the first few hours we had about a few thousand, maybe a million. It's crazy. Alright, so for the Bianca fans, there's Bianca right there. So the rest of this level is mostly just gem collecting. But after this level, there's another boss fight skip. We end up skipping quite a few bosses in this game, actually. It's a pretty similar boss skip to the Butler skip, but slightly different in that we're just going to completely avoid the cutscene trigger instead of flying into it, taking advantage of the game's mechanics. For this one, we're going to glide through an object we're not supposed to and get behind it, just like we did with the boulder. And this is just going to let us avoid the cutscene trigger entirely. So that's going to be just over here in this cave. Right after that boss skip, I'm also going to do a really tricky jump that, as a casual player, you don't really need to do, but for a speedrunner, it actually gets us about 115 gems. So it's super worth it, even though it's a pretty difficult jump. And so this is Ripto Skip by Ripto. There's a Ripto fight in that room. We don't get to see it though, because it's very slow and basically an auto-scroller. And I got the jump first try. So that's actually way harder than it looks. The geometry there is very funky. Definitely not a skip that you expect to get first try every time, but it doesn't lose too much time to fail it. Thankfully I got it first try there. And that basically all that does is get us 115 gems without having to go into Moneybags Mansion and go through a whole bunch of loading zones that we just don't want to go through. And with that, we're going to head over to Kangaroo Hoodoos, which is the final big level of the run. Our last level, we're going to be collecting a lot of gems. as I said, there's a lot more gems in the later levels of the game, so this level has quite a few gems. We spend a lot more time here than in other levels. We're using our powered up fire breath that we got in Banana Savannah here to get across. And the item we're going to get from this level, because every level we're visiting has an item for us, is the ground pound statue. Ground pound statue is a little interesting in this game because we can use it basically 4 times before it becomes useless, or 14 times, and mostly in this level. We have 2 uses for it in the speedrun though, so we actually do need to grab it. We can't just ignore it completely. The kangaroo will talk to me. So that's the ground pound statue. This level has its own gimmick with these green hedgehogs that you push around. You're supposed to use them to destroy statues. Oops. With that green hedgehog there, you would breathe fire on it, it goes into a ball, and you push it into a statue. AGDQ, the world record holder, also rerouted this level just a tad to actually route one of the hedgehogs completely out of the run, because while those hedgehogs are moving, you actually cannot move. So it's pretty slow to watch them move. So we'll be using just 2 of them instead of 3 in this route. Heading up the level here. Unfortunately, we can't get up here without the hedgehog, but after this one and the next one, we'll go ahead and ignore them for now. This one, there's a lot of gems on this cliff too, so it's a little worth it to do the hedgehog here. Don't worry, he's not related to Sonic. He's green. So this hedgehog here is the one we skip. Because you can actually get up on this cliff here, which has 75 gems on it, just like that. Again, the glide and hover, really strong in this game. It lets us get a lot of places without needing to use the intended game mechanics. So that, I'm gonna head up here. We should end Kangaroo Hoodoo's around 1,980 gems. If we're not, we have extras that we can grab. This is pretty good. We only need to get 1 extra gem here. So we did pretty good on the gem route this run. There's some tricky jumps here. If I didn't fail those, that would have been embarrassing. Right, so that's 1980, and the last 20 are right here. And there's our 2,000 gem count right there. And so the reason we need those 2,000 gems is because Moneybags is greedy, and we want to tour his mansion, but he's not going to let us unless we pay him 2,000 gems. But oh no, there's Butler again. Unfortunately, we can't skip this one, but that's fine. I know how to beat him. Using water fountains. We kind of want to get him to explode pretty close to Moneybags, but it just depends on how Moneybags moves. Moneybags moved away just there at the last second. Something about this game is that the cutscenes actually affect how much time you lose in this game. So you want things to be really close to you, so the camera doesn't zoom around and lose you a lot of time. And with that, we actually have every item we need to beat the game, so we're going to head towards the final level. Just want to take a moment to talk about the GBA Spyro community as a whole. It's a really great community. We've actually been growing a lot in the last year. We were able to do an entire relay race, actually, at the last Spyrothon, which is our marathon event for Spyro games. You all check it out. There's a channel for it. And it's been really cool to see the growth and all the runners that have come in the past year. This game, when I started running, it only had about 4 runners, and now we're up to 10, which is really awesome. 10 runners on the board. Really cool to see more people run this game. It's actually a very fun speed game. It's actually very accessible as well. The movement's super fun to do. Skips are not too difficult to pull off. Everything you saw today is pretty doable with a little bit of practice. But yeah, it's a great community. Highly recommend these games to speedrun. Season of Flame, Season of Ice, Attack the Rhynocs, and also the Legend of Spyro game that's being shown off this weekend. So definitely check us out. This is the final area of the game. This is Chateau Ripto. We're gonna use this statue here to get up here. Unintended. Skip another hedgehog. We're also gonna walk on this piece of scenery to avoid using the mole hats, which you may have seen in Rabbit Habitat. They're very, very annoying, so we like to avoid those. And coming up is the final fight. Here's the Rhino Pete again. Unfortunately, I messed him up, so hopefully I don't do lose too much health here. So there's actually a cutscene skip right here before the final fight. I haven't gotten it in months. We don't know how it works. Hoping my GDQ luck will pull through. It did not pull through, unfortunately. So you can actually skip this cutscene. But we really don't know how it works. It kind of just happens sometimes. The current running theory is that the cutscene fails to load because sometimes you just run into the room and the music for the boss fight starts playing. This music you're hearing right now. Instead of the Chateau Ripto music continuing, which is what we heard this time coming into the room. And if that happens, you save 15 seconds automatically. And I haven't gotten that in months. It's really random. I tried mashing there, that's one of the theories about how it works, but no one really knows for sure. And Ripto is defeated. We're not time yet. We're gonna be having time on credits. We're gonna read credits up here. Ripto's gonna run over here, try to drop the professor into some lava, but our old buddy here, Butler, coming in clutch, is gonna save us from certain demise here. So yeah, as we're finishing out the run, I'd really like to thank GDQ so much for letting me show this at the event. It means a lot to me that the event that inspired me to speedrun is letting me show my very first ever speed game. This was the first game I ever speedrun. So thank you so much for that, and time. And that is Spyro Attack of the Rhynocs any %. Yeah, before I go, huge shout outs to the GBA Spyro community again, Overdeki Assassins, Hideramachan, Lovebot, First Maple, all of you guys, you guys are great. Thank you so much for the support. Definitely check out CD Ramachan's Legend of Spyro Eternal Night Run on Saturday morning. It's gonna be great. It's a fun speed run. Thank you, Sam, for reading donations. I really appreciate that. And keep me company in the booth. And yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, and please enjoy the rest of the marathon.
All right, thank you so much, Breadghost, for an absolutely amazing run. That was fantastic. And we've got plenty more donations here. So first off, we've got $15 here from Jibber Jabber saying, Attack of the Rhynocs was my first ever game for the GBA. I have so much nostalgia running through the levels as a kid, and hearing all this music again is a trip and a half. It's mind-boggling to see it being ran so fast. Great work. And from Colin, we have $100, donating to prevent other people from having to go through seeing both of their parents go through what I did. Thank you, GDQ, for everything you do. All right, everyone, so it looks like my time hosting is ending now, but I'm going to leave you in the absolutely incredible hands of Frozen Flygon, where we will be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 Online. I'm your host for the next upcoming segment of Runs. My name is Frozen Flygon, and wherever you are in the world, thank you for spending time with us, making this such an incredible event. I am just blown away by the outpouring of support and love for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and I know we're going to keep the love and hype going the rest of the day today and the rest of the week. All right, now for a message from one of our sponsors, Power Up Audio. Power Up Audio is an indie sound studio from Vancouver, Canada. They've worked on such games as Celeste and Cadence of Hyrule with the sound design. In the past, they also handled audio on-site for our events, but for AGDQ 2022 Online, they designed some sounds for the amazing new overlays. Absolutely incredible. Check them out at powerupaudio.com and the upcoming Tunic at tunicgame.com. Super excited for that game, and thank you so much to Power Up Audio for all the work they've done in the past and helping us out with the audio for this event. Thank you so much to everyone who has been donating. All of your money goes directly towards the Prevent Cancer Foundation. It's amazing seeing that number just go up and up and up. We have $100 from Melbass Crew that says, "We've been so looking forward to AGDQ, and right before our first child is due. Wonderful cause, amazing speed runs, let's get it." We have $250 from Sam G. "I always love this event and have for many years. Lots of love to everyone in these trying times. Here's my bit to help those in need. Cheers." Thank you so much. It makes a huge difference. And don't forget, when you donate, you can put your money towards our various incentives and bid wars, including the upcoming Chicory, A Colorful Tale character name. We have a tight race between Ratatouille and Doggo, $2 apart from each other. So your donation can make that swing in either direction. We also have some other upcoming incentives like the character choice for Crash Team Racing, the body choice for Webbed, and the hat choice for Webbed. So be sure to go check those out at gamesdonequick.com to see all the lists of our incentives and bid wars for the upcoming speedruns. We have $10 from Crystal Frost that says, "Been watching all the GDQ for years. Love what you all do. Keep up the great work." Also, Vaporeon is the best. I'm personally a Glaceon fan myself. I have a plushie in the room with me, but I respect all evolution opinions here. We have $100 from Anonymous. Thank you so much for your generosity, and every amount makes a difference for us. Thank you so much. We have $5 from Loose Goo Cream that says, "Hello GDQ, a small donation to open hostilities with Ratatouille for Chicory's character name." I believe you all have the reference, but of course, Ratatouille being a French dish, it's obviously the best choice for the rename. All right, everyone, get excited. It is time for Part-Time UFO with Yukirin. Any percent, take it away.